Okay, for the second part of this commentary, I want to talk about this second example here. This time, how you might use Ramage when looking at a photograph. Take his idea that when we act rhetorically, we are both waking and sleeping. And this is really similar to this seeing and believing kind of thing from Blakely and Brooke. He says that we might not want to just order things into neat categories like a first reading or viewing of a photograph might lead us to do, but we should acquire the capacity to engage in prolonged reflection and the resolution to take decisive action. Note, always quote from the source that you're using, the rhetorical source from Ramage or Brooke or Blake Berger or from Blakely and Brooke, so we know what the writer said. Okay, but this capacity to engage goes against kind of believing and then seeing that Blakely and Brooke is talking about, because believing something kind of puts your biases out there first before you see something. So you're going to see what you want to see. In this case, what you want to do is you want to reserve that kind of action. Uh, it's almost a kind of emotion. It's not an action at all. It's you just looking through your biases and not being critical. Okay? So you take Ramage's point about waking and sleeping and revisit the photograph of the battered woman and see it differently. See it in terms of some other audience, or pick some new aspect of the photograph in light of its context or style. So instead of looking at it purely through your biases, what you believe, uh, take another point of view. And this is what rhetoric is about. It's this conversation. It's seeing things through other people's eyes. It's precluding um, your point of view and letting other people talk, kind of thing. It's letting experience dictate what happens instead of putting your ideas on experience. Okay, so therefore dig deeper into the photograph. Do not just take it as gospel, the first interpretation you make. And don't get me wrong here, your biases or what you believe about something or other are perfectly valid. You know, the idea is to find what evidence there is in the photograph to support those kinds of opinions. And then look for other evidences that do not support it, basically. So then for the rest of your post, when you're doing this, tease out other various purposes and audiences for the photograph, and at the end, you decide what the photograph is asking you to do, what action, if any, it is asking you to take. So the photograph has an effect on you. You know, this is the kind of idea that I want you to uh, talk about in this. Don't just stand outside of it with your biases. Get inside and see what the evidence, what the signs, what the makeup of the photograph is actually trying to do to you as the audience member. Okay, because these photographers have some particular method in mind, some particular purpose in mind. And so what are they doing to you? And how do you know that? From how they set up the photograph and the images in the photograph and everything that's going on within the frame. And also, as Berger says, what's outside the frame, which is almost as important. Okay, you have to talk about those things too. What's being left out? What comes in as connotation instead of denotation? And we'll talk about that a lot later. Okay? All right, thanks.